Hello, welcome back to our channel. We're following through a small booklet entitled Kamatthana. There's an ebook access that you can find on this channel or on my website, Madrone Mountain Meditation.org. And we hope you'll download the book and follow along as we go page by page. Today we're on page 4. I'm going to start on the last sentence from page 3. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. So deceive another is defined or as the definition of right speech. And there are usually 4 expressions of what right speech would look like. And the first one is don't tell lies, don't exaggerate, don't do anything devious in thought, word, or deed that would give the wrong impression, even though it's the impression you want to give to anyone, in such a way that you would break the trust that that person has in you. It says, then on page 4, it says, or despise any being in any state. What is quite common in the world is to blame people who are suffering as deserving it. They made their bed, let them sleep in it. They're at fault. And it doesn't mean that they aren't. It doesn't mean that people don't make mistakes, terrible mistakes, and behave in abhorrent ways. But it's not helpful for us to be angry and to despise them. I watch from time to time these programs on YouTube where they solve past crimes, and many times the victims of the crime or the survivors of a crime give a court statement after the accused has been found guilty. They can speak to the judge and tell them how their lives have been altered, damaged, ruined by the defendant's behavior. And so often they're so full of hatred and animosity. They want that person to suffer as much as they have suffered. They say the cruelest possible things they can to the defendant, who I recognize as having been found guilty. But what they don't recognize is they are in hell during any moment that they are full of hatred and retribution and revenge towards any being. The being could be a mosquito, and getting upset about the mosquito disturbing us and chasing it or swatting it can be a fly in the house or some house ants. It could be something a little more troubling, cockroaches or mice and rats. The point is, we create a living hell every moment that we are wishing some being would go to hell. And when we rise to the level of wanting to kill any being, even through the means of the state and capital punishment, we have created an environment that cannot possibly bring us to a life of equanimity, goodwill, or peace of mind. It says, let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Well, I got ahead of myself, I guess. I've already given examples of people who, through ill will and anger, want this other being to suffer and possibly even to die if we're setting out poisons and traps and swatting small beings because out of anger we don't believe they have a right to exist. Even as a mother protects with her own life. So her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings. Okay, people have phobias, people are so anxious and fearful of some certain animals. Snakes and rats and mice come to mind. People scream, jump up on the chair, run out hysterically from, let's say, a bat gets in the house, or maybe a wasp or something that might sting or burn or bite them. We must, through our meditation and our mindfulness practice, begin to have a sense that all living beings cherish their life as much as we cherish ours. And if we have decided, determined, judged that they aren't entitled to this life, then of course, we're playing God, so to speak, and we lose empathy, we lose compassion, we lose any possibility of the feeling of goodwill towards all beings. When we've done that, we are living a miserable life. So we're encouraged to be like a mother who, the ideal mother, and I believe there are some who do whatever they can possibly do to raise their child safely, lovingly, harmoniously. And we are capable of having that sense, whether we're male or female, whether we're a parent or not, that all living beings are entitled to their life. Their life has been determined by the laws of karma and how they are born, how long they live, and how they pass away is embedded in this law of karma. And to imagine that we're doing them a favor by killing them or hating them or being angry with them is real delusion. Radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. So those are the 6 directions. Hopefully when you finish your meditation daily, you offer it, you share it, you release it into the universe. And this description is trying to help us remember in all directions, not over to the east or just only to the west, so to speak, but above and below, all six directions. Omit no one, omitting none, as it said earlier in the sutra. Outwards and unbounded, no limits. For me, the definition of the universe means whatever exists in any form, anywhere. So some people talk about parallel universes and the edge of the universe, etc. I'm not smart enough to know what they mean. For me, the universe is, if something exists, it exists in the universe. So in spreading a sense of goodwill and harmony, forgiveness, compassion, sympathetic joy, there should be no limit. Says, freed from hatred and ill will. That's what loving kindness is. That's what compassion is. That's what sympathetic joy is. And that's what equanimity is. We're not holding back from those we may have anger towards, who may have harmed us in some way, those who we have not yet understood the importance of forgiving. We just accept and include all beings in any form and anywhere. Says, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. So, standing, walking, seated, or lying down are the four postures the Lord Buddha gives as postures where we can successfully meditate, and we certainly can successfully practice mindfulness in those four postures. We should sustain this recollection. So we should be remembering that this is the way we want to live, and this is the way we would like others to live. This is said to be the sublime abiding by not holding fixed views. I'll start there. The sublime, that's equanimous, excuse me, that's peaceful, that's tranquil, that's, as the Bible says, that peace which passeth all understanding. It's not something we can imagine, and it's not something we can define with intellect. It's something that only the pure-hearted can know. By not holding fixed views means that our opinions are the major source of our own suffering, and our attachment to these opinions will define just how much suffering we create for ourselves. As we know, the sort of ultimate clinging to opinions is when countries start wars against one another, or when human beings take the life of another human being. And of course, in both cases, they feel justified. Well, the situation demanded that they use violence and hatred and ugliness to solve the problem. And there is the cause of all of our sufferings is that we are so attached to our opinion, and it's not a question of whether our opinion is right or wrong or better than someone else's. It's not an argument if our spiritual practice is better than someone else's, or better, our religion is better, our politics is better, our problem solving is better. That is not the point. The point is our attachment to those views isolate us and create a defensive position where we're going to fight to impose our views on others. And that moment is a moment where we are delusional, and we have failed to understand the fundamental teachings of the Buddha. The pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all desires, is not born again in this world. So, in the forest monk tradition, we identify equanimity, loving kindness, goodwill, and compassion, generosity, and other virtues as coming from the heart and not from the brain, not from the intellect. That we can read the Dhamma, listen to the Dhamma, we can meditate, but until we have the direct experience, which is a heart experience, it's still just an intellectual understanding. People say, oh, I know I shouldn't smoke and I'm gonna stop tomorrow, or drink, or have anger management issues, whatever it might be. But when they actually know in their heart, they will lose any interest in continuing any unhealthy behavior. Intellectually reading the warning on a package of cigarettes that they're going to kill you is not the kind of understanding that transforms us into a pure-hearted being. So clarity of vision means we're not delusional. We're not suffering from the belief in self and others. We are working our way down the path of Dhamma to a place where we will give up, entirely surrender the sense of being a person altogether. This is the ultimate expression of being freed from all desires. So as long as we have a sense of being a person, there's bound to be desires and resistance to things that we don't want. And those arise because there is a sense of self, and because there's a sense of self, we want certain things and we don't want other things to happen. We don't want to have any kind of suffering, physical, emotional, financial, etc. We want a certain quality of luxury, etc. And these desires cannot be met regardless of satisfying or seeming to satisfy a desire. Then, if you notice carefully, it will be replaced by a new desire, maybe of a completely different nature. So, becoming liberated from the ignorance of personhood is, by definition, becoming liberated from craving and clinging. And if we reach that stage, it says, are not born again in this world. Now there's some limitations by definition, born again in this world. So that means in Buddhist terminology that you have entered the stream, Sotaban or Satipatthani, Satagami, or Sekadagami. So the first level of entry is stream entry. It means the worst case scenario. You may have 7 more human lifetimes. You're not obliged to have 7 more. You may be fully liberated in the next moment or next minute or week or month, so on. If you reach Sekadagami, it means the worst case scenario is 1 more human lifetime. And if we master sufficiently, maybe not perfectly, but sufficiently, the teachings of the Metta Sutta, we can be confident that we will have reached the stage of anakami or non-returner. So that's the end of page 4. If you think these teachings might be a blessing to others and would like to see them shared with sincere Dhamma students, I hope you'll consider pressing the like button and the subscribe button as a way of spreading this forest Dhamma to as many students as possible. Thank you.